I'm really excited for today on the sorority with your host here, Jessica Mystic. I have a very special guest. So, sisters, today we are going to be welcoming the legend herself, Sheila Bella. Legendary. Why do I say legendary? Well, Sheila not only is an entrepreneur, a mentor, she's also a faith-driven leader, and she is in the forefront of the beauty industry. And I'm privileged to have had her as a mentor to myself and also as a soul sister. She's a visionary founder of Sheila Bella Permanent Makeup and Pretty Rich Bosses, which is a coaching program that I was in almost just less than 2 years ago. And she has dedicated her career to empowering the beauty entrepreneurs to achieve financial independence and global impact. Featured in Forbes, Disrupt Magazine, CEO Weekly, ABC, The Real, Bravo, and E! All the things everywhere. Her journey reflects a commitment of excellence, innovation, and the transformative power of beauty. So she's also the host of the CEO Glow Show. You've probably checked that out. And she dives into faith, entrepreneurship, beauty, offering wisdom and encouragement. And her mission is to guide others toward realizing their dreams with a blend of cutting edge strategies and deep community values. So there's a very warm welcome to Sheila.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica, for having me. Thank you for always being vulnerable with me and always being so encouraging. You are like the ultimate hype woman. So
Oh,
I love that about you. You are just so supportive, no drama. And so that's why we all love you at PRB.
I love the Ultimate Hype Girl's my jam. That's what I'm here for. I always blew up your chats. I remember like even before you knew me, when you had the online summits, I just blow up the chats. You're like, who are
Oh
you?
my gosh, that's so generous. I think that's also like a success hack. Being generous, not just with like your money or your possessions or your home, but with your words, with your heart, with your knowledge. And you are the epitome of that. And you're relentless about your generosity, and I love that about you. I should be more like that. It's really, really cool, and it's inspiring for me. Truly.
Oh, thank you. Relentless. I like that. Relentless. I'm not too
You're
much. I'm just
relentlessly
relentless.
generous.
Just it's all about the relentless love, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So for those who aren't familiar with you, which I find hard to believe if they're following me, but if they're not familiar with you, can you share a little bit about who you are and how you ended up becoming this leader in the PMU
Oh,
industry and in leading women in their businesses and beauty coaching as
yeah.
well?
Yeah. It's a combination of things. A lot of it is timing, a lot of it is action, a lot of it is God's favor. But yeah, when the permanent makeup industry found me. When I first got into it, like how many of us actually were little girls in preschool, when we got up on the preschool graduation stage saying, one day I'm gonna tattoo faces, I'm gonna be a permanent makeup artist. I think zero of us said that. So the permanent makeup industry found me at a time where I was looking for something fast, something that would feed my family or my future family at that time. And I ran with it though. I ran with it. Like I was just all in. It was PMU or bust. You know what I'm saying? And it was just that decision that I made. I like put my life into this profession, and it had to work. And I was at that time in my life. I was 28 years old. I was newly divorced. I was just got fired from my job. I just met this incredible man who was a school teacher that I knew would never provide me with the designer and luxury goods that I've wanted my whole life. But he's just so wonderful. He's, rich in all the other ways. He does get paid well. Let me just express that now. He does get paid well. If we're talking school teachers, he does. And yeah, and I was like, well, permanent makeup, let's do it. I just thought the concept of permanent makeup was so cool. And you guys have probably heard me tell the story 1,000 times, those of you follow me, because like everywhere we go, what do the makeup labels say? 24-hour wear, long lasting. And I'm like, what, permanent beauty? And I don't have to be a plastic surgeon. I was just telling my husband the other day, I was like, man, I should have been a plastic surgeon because just the concept of like permanent beauty, like we apply our eyeliner every day, our eyebrows every day, our lipstick every day. Like, what if it was just like that? And I was like, there's just no way this business idea of mine wasn't going to blow up because everyone wants it. There was already proof of concept, and I didn't have the words to articulate it back then. But that is that's what it was. It's proof of concept. This is already something women want. This is already something women strive for. And there wasn't a lot of people doing, good permanent makeup at the time. And I was like, I don't understand how this wouldn't be, why this isn't more popular. I just didn't understand it. I got permanent makeup done and I didn't know anyone else who had at the time. And so from that, I created a multi-million dollar permanent makeup business. That's the long and the short of it. But that wasn't even my aim. My aim was just to help my fiance at the time pay rent. And yeah, and then it's really interesting, Jessica, when you find out what you're capable of, if you put pedal to the metal, if you stop being afraid, or if not, if you stop being afraid, if you push through the fear and do it scared, do it messy, do it now, do it anyway. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. And in terms of like being a leader in this space, I think that's another topic because there's a lot of people who've been doing this for 20, 35 years, whatever, like way longer than me. But I think the key there is what I was telling you earlier, I was giving you a compliment for, is the generosity in your knowledge, the generosity of sharing your life and your heart and just, I don't know, like the vulnerability. To me, vulnerability is currency to women especially, but I think to men as well too. But I think just like consistently being authentic, consistently being vulnerable, and just sharing so openly my struggles and my knowledge. And I just think that, if people can push past that scarcity mentality, that is how you become a leader.
Mm-hmm. I think what's interesting is the topics you're covering, even in your own story, when you're talking to how that obsession with that permanent beauty, you can take that on so many levels. Because like permanent beauty, it's not just our face. We all want to feel confident what we do and how we like put our best face forward, right? When you think about it, that idea, like that speaks to the healer in you. That speaks to the someone who wants to you got into it because you wanted you're obsessed with that permanency because it's making your life better. We all
Yeah.
want to have a better life. It's that constant pursuit of betterment. And I think that's what feeds the fire in our soul that transitions from just like having a business and doing permanent makeup to creating, like you created such a huge, like you say, you want to pay rent. Well, you paid more than just rent. Like you
Mm.
created a whole gigantic seven-figure business. And then coaching and leadership, you kept putting fuel on the fire. You just kept showing up. You loved that permanent idea
Yeah.
of betterment on so many different levels. That's where your
Oh,
soul lit on fire,
oh, thank you. Yeah,
right?
I
Like
never put that
listening.
together. Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, I'm just listening and I'm like, well, this is perfect. I love this. Like
Yeah.
that's the witnessing your soul on fire and you still roll with it. And then going from that, even in the past year, your transition of like expressing your faith in Christianity and like that opened up for me. It wasn't a matter of, oh, Sheila's doing this now, let me look into it. But seeing someone that I already trusted and admired, and then having the PRB family and seeing them express faith, you're like, well, this is a safe person that I can talk to, like I that won't judge me. And being able to have a conversation, being someone who's already in the spotlight and sharing vulnerability and ideals, regardless of what other people have to say about it, that sparked and opened a lot more for me beyond just like your traditional business coaching or learning this strategy. It's being like, okay, someone's actually showing a part of themselves on social media that's allowing me to realize we can be humans on all levels and not just how we're
Mm.
performing online. Because it's
Yeah.
easy to get lost in that, don't you think? Like just having to perform sometimes for content, and then you're like, wait a minute, is this what
Yeah.
I want to say or what I think I should say?
Oh my gosh, the timing of this concept, so the reason why I rebranded, I guess changed the name of my podcast from Pretty Rich Podcast to the CEO Glow Show is because I felt very performative about like my YouTube videos and my content and things like that. And as an artistic person, like that's an outward expression of like what's going on inside. I felt like my content was so boring. It was boring to me because it was so niche to this one thing that I was passionate about, but it wasn't all of me for about 2 years. About 2 years. If you look at my YouTube channel, I don't delete anything. I put everything out there because, it doesn't matter like if I didn't feel cute that day or whatever, or even like the things that I'm not proud of.
Mhm.
My security is in Jesus and it's in about not pretending that I'm perfect. I am a human and this is my journey. And we're all at different levels, different places in our journey, right? So, yeah, for about 2 years, I felt like my content was so boring. I just talked about one subject. And although it was very valuable and, did get me a lot of clients, I felt like I lost my humanity. I lost my voice and I lost, I missed sharing, so many aspects of my life. And I did this for about 2 years, because my baby's two now, my third baby's two now. And I think I did that just to kind of like get through that busy season of having a baby.
Mhm.
But now, if he's still not potty trained, but things are a lot easier. And I'm feeling this pull from the Holy Spirit to share more about what's really going on with me, how God is like blessing my life, how God is changing my life and sanctifying, my heart and my soul. So yeah, that's really interesting you brought that up because I just had that conversation with Laura this morning. She was like, maybe you should share things that are more niche. And I had to remind her that, listen, Laura, for those of you who don't know, she's my COO. She's like my work wife.
We love Laura.
We love Laura.
She keeps us together.
Yeah, she has abs now because she has a thyroid problem, but it's
Oh,
it's to
nice.
her favor. So I was like, "What are you upset about? You have abs now." Anyway, so yeah, but she's like, I had to remind her, and after this conversation, she finally got it, that listen, I'm a fluid person. I'm a human being. I'm just way too artistic to like pretend that this is all that I am. If I
She's
had surgery.
unmasking. She's unmasking.
So, I mean, last week I had a surgery and I posted about it. The other
Mhm.
day I posted like the 5 things that I'm struggling with. And I just cannot imagine living a life so inauthentically and not sharing the joy and the love that, Jesus has placed in my heart. I like just can't imagine that. Just talking about stale things like, all the things that you need to have in your paperwork or how to find a great business coach or like, I just, I love those things as well. But I feel like I would be doing my sisters that's how I see you, Jessica. I would be doing you such a disservice if I wasn't authentically showing up and showing you what's the beauty in everything that God is doing for me. That would be such a disservice. Why hold back on that? Like God has given me eternal life. Why? What? I'm not going to talk about that.
Well,
So,
and that acceptance that we are human. I think people forget that as we try to act in a certain way and be a certain way and especially coming from it's like, well, I need to be better. I need to embody this. I need to be, I need to own my power. And I find that was a big thing before I got baptized and was seeking Jesus. It was, I have to own this power. I have to own this power. But it's not about my power. It was about
mm,
finding what empowered me and what was my purpose with this power and these gifts that are given to us. We have a gift of voice. We have a gift of on like being honest and meeting people where they're at. And
yeah,
I mean, I think your content wasn't boring because you're always fun to watch. Like I remember from like the blonde wig to then you had the brunette hair to then when I rebranded, new rebranded, I went, oh shit, like our colors are the same colors. Hers are just a muted version of mine. And now I'm going to be copying Sheila and panicking and messaging Joe. And she's like, dude, no, like you're fine. And like seeing these things online space, we worry so much about how are we being seen? What are being said? Is this
yeah,
good enough? Is this what we mean? But when we actually focus on sharing parts of our lives and our journey that are just who we are, it's so much more powerful and we
mm,
feel so much better. Like I can feel the
yeah,
life behind your post. It's just pictures of you, pictures of your family, picture of you in a hospital bed. And in that moment, it's like, oh, I love that you're human. I had someone tell me once, never meet your idols because it knocks them down and they become human. It's like, isn't
agree.
that what we want? Like
Mm,
I remember meeting you and being like, oh, like everyone's so small. I love how small everyone is. But like, because we blow things out of proportion and then we
yeah.
feel we have to be blown out of proportion. And I think that's where this whole like we get lost. We get lost and we think of like we need to it's all becomes stat facts and repetition and again not who we are. And I think watching you through this journey is allowing so many others to decide. I'm sure there's people that agree or disagree with anything we do in business, but I think so many people are activated and encouraged by seeing you be you
Mm,
in like the most like your vulnerability. It's so humbling. like to see you as human, not just an idol, because you became an idol for so many, right?
Hmm.
You're idolized by thousands of people. Let's be real. Okay, you're Sheila Bella. So having you go through this journey, and now when you speak of God and you speak of Jesus, you speak of your family, you're bringing to light the truth in every single other person out there. And you're allowing them the permission to be okay with where they're at and what they're capable of, which is even more powerful than any performative thing you could have done before.
Thank you
Wouldn't you
for that.
agree?
Thank you for that confirmation. Yeah, all of it. It feels better. The impact is greater. And it's not just like, impact in terms of like helping people make more money, but to me, it's a kingdom impact. It's an eternal impact. And yeah, that's what I aim for, I guess.
Well, and this whole decision when you decided to go, I remember seeing the switch when you're like, this is it. Like, I'm expressing my faith. How was that for you? I know you've said being vulnerable in your post and talk about your faith at first, like you were afraid to do so. What was it you were so afraid of, like behind it all? What scared you the most about making that decision to fully express yourself that way?
I, I was actually afraid of what my team would think. I was afraid of what my team would think. I was afraid that, we have people on our team that aren't necessarily Christian, that are of all, different faith backgrounds, whatever it is they're practicing. They're all in different places in our faith journey, but at the same time, I felt like they need to understand that I'm a personal brand. I'm a human. And so, CEO Glow Show it talks a lot about, my faith, but it also talks about so many things. Like it talks about marriage. I talk about my family, and I talk about like my struggles and like my unhealthy relationship with food, and like how self-conscious I am about my body, or like my diagnosis or something like that, or my panic attack, so it's just, that's who I am. And so I was afraid about what my team would think. I was afraid about the forums, the Facebook forums, about what they would think. But something that gives me a lot of solace is the quote that gossip falls dead on wise ears. And also, it was preventing me from the ability to reach the people that I could reach.
Mhm.
If somebody doesn't like my content, they can decide to unfollow. And so that would make me sad. But honestly, I would miss out on the people that God has assigned for me to reach. If somebody unfollows me, then that means that they are not my assignment,
No,
right?
they're not ready to listen. They can always
They're
come back.
they're not. It's for someone else. It's for someone else. And I understand, like, how I come across, like my voice might be annoying, my lashes might be too long. I'm wearing way too much makeup. And so I know that that's off-putting for some people, but to how can I reach people like you who, I have a pink mic, you have pink hair, and I want to have pink hair. I've thought about it several times. My team would kill me because we have to change everything.
Just get a wig. Just get a wig.
I do have a pink hair wig and I love it.
So we'll have to host an event, and when you come speak at it, you have to wear the pink hair wig.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
That should be, you should have an event, Jessica. Here's a business idea.
Okay.
And every speaker needs to have pink hair.
Yes. I would love that. Oh my God.
Okay.
Well, now that
I,
has to happen. Let me
now
write
that
it down
has to
then.
happen. Sign me up.
Okay, we're gonna do something with that. So put that into the one of the million things that's gonna take place from this.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm more
Well,
than ready.
and what I love about this is how you're speaking about, because a lot of people have come out and are like, oh, well, she's doing this now. She's doing, it's amazing how people have so many things to say when someone decides to do something their own way. And I can speak to that myself because I get a lot of flack from a lot of different things. People don't like the fact that I'm loud and I swear and I'm tattooing, but I'm not tattooing, but I teach tattooing and but I look young, but all because people always have something to say. And I think what's interesting is when we choose to actually show up as we are, when you said the word personal brand, I think that is so crucial to anyone that's listening at any stage in their business. Start building a personal brand before you decide to just build a business. Because I think people get detached trying to create some brand or version of business with not being a part of it. And then they spend more time backtracking and redeveloping. I rebranded. I remember trying to be clinical. When I first signed up for PRB, I was in a clinic. My branding was clinic colors and all that because I needed to be professional and wear my white coat and do all of this. And then I went to PRB. I was like, no, I want to be me.
Fair.
I love how I show up with these women. That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
And then I just took off. And I remember you messaging me one day randomly. You're just like, you're branding. Wow. And I'm like, thank you. Because it's me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
rolled with it. And from that, so many things have come forward. And what would you like to speak on in terms of personal branding? Because you've always had a personal brand and it's always evolving with you, just like anyone's. But what do you think are some of the key points you want to say to someone when they're starting a business or they're feeling stuck in their business? What do you think makes like vital for a personal brand?
I mean, it's the most valuable thing you have is who you are. It's, for those of you who are thinking like, how do I stand out? Well, be you. It's the most unique thing about you is being all of who you are. Like we look at, if you're in the beauty industry or even if you're not, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a brow artist, like I look at all of these pages and for real estate agents, I just see a bunch of homes. I see a
Mhm.
bunch of homes and I cannot tell the difference between one account to another. Brow artists, I see a bunch of brows. I can't tell the difference between, this set of brows and that set of brows. How do you stand out? Be a human being because I think we're forgetting to be a human. And I have my math, my social media math, which is, I every time I put something out there, 33% of people are not going to give a crap. They're going to hate it. They're going to unfollow you. The other 33% are going to be kind of indifferent. But then you have that 33% or even 10%. You'll have a small group of people that are absolutely going to love everything that you're about, totally understand where you're coming from and what you're saying, and they're going to be your lifers. Like these lifers, like you only need 1,000 lifers, 100 lifers who are going to buy everything you sell, who are going to download every podcast you produce. Like you only need 1,000. Like you don't need millions of followers. But in order to get those lifers, you have to be okay with turning people off, with people not really caring about your page or your content. In order to reach those people, you have to dare to be yourself.
Show up. I think one of the biggest things is so many people are worried about, oh, I got to do this right and I've got to get the followers. Stop focusing on finding followers and start fulfilling your fans. If you can just speak to the ones that want to listen, you're going to get so much further. Isn't that the whole point? Like, why else are
Mhm.
we doing anything?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, especially in our businesses, it's not just about the work. Like, it's not just about making brows. It's not just about doing a podcast interview. It's not just, it's about the message, how you are changing someone's life with your hands, your voice, your thoughts, you showing up, just holding space for somebody can be life changing. Like,
Yeah.
like, I think
Yeah.
people forget that. And when I think comes down to personal brand, it's taking your idea of business out of it and putting yourself into becoming. Like the word, when you say human being, we need to be. It's in the word being. You have to actually be in your business and be who you are.
Yeah, I
So,
love that.
right? Like, well, I'm like curious now. So you have so many things going on all the time. And now we have to create a pink hair wig event that we have to host. So
We have to.
we do. What are your hopes or dreams or desires? And like, you don't obviously, I know you don't want to spill anything that might be in the works if it's coming. I know you just launched, forgive me, it is,
Elevate.
yeah, like that is amazing, by the way. I was
You.
still mind blown by it. Let's just say if
Thank
you don't
you.
know what Elevate is, you should probably reach out or join like one of her free AI school trainings that are coming up.
Go to bellavate.com.
Elevate
Check
Tech.
it
Just go straight to the website. It's pretty dope. Any other like desires or dreams on the horizon, be it like personal in business, anything that like what's fueling you right now? What's lighting you up right now?
Really good question. Oh, I don't really take the time to be that reflective. I'm looking forward to peace. I'm
Mm.
looking forward to that. And that peace is accessible to us all the time. Like it really is, because I believe we have the Holy Spirit. Like, so if you're going through a tough time right now, like just look at all of the things that God has brought you through. It's always being in gratitude. I was just watching, for some reason or another, our wedding video that, I got married in 2012. And I remember all of the things I was anxious about at that time and how everyone's okay. And I'm like, well, if I'm going through a tough time right now, if we're going through pivots in the business and things like that, like just know that we've been here before. And now I have data that everything's going to be okay one way or another. Like God will provide and things I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to this new season, I suppose, in my podcast and my self expression. Yeah, I just feel so blessed, Jessica, that like I'm looking forward to today. All the cool
Right.
things I'm gonna get to do today, and Man, like my husband and I like go to sleep at night, and last night he just said we are so blessed, and I'm like, yeah. And things aren't perfect, but it's about being in a spirit of gratitude all the time. Like it's a mindset, like being appreciative of everything. Like we get to enjoy a warm meal.
Mhm.
I get to have a conversation with you and you're miles and miles away. I get to share my faith journey with you. I get to talk to my friends today. I get to have, nonsensical conversations with my kids today, who like say a lot of funny things and also things that tick me off. Like it's always about being in a state of gratitude. So I honestly, Jessica, I'm really excited about the day. I know it's probably a lame answer, but I really am.
I love, it's not a lame answer. And I love your answer because today, fun fact, because I used to walk around, I know when I was in PRB, I shared with you guys, I would always listen to my affirmations when I walk around the lake. And I switched my affirmations up for worship music when I walk around the lake.
I love
And
that.
I had the most beautiful morning. I was listening to the song, He's Beautiful, and I was looking at the sky and I'm walking with my pup. And I actually came to my knees at the lake and just like raised my arms to the sky. I was like, all of this, since I started walking around this lake and I was having this interview with you today, this has been a journey. I've walked the same lake, the same circles. And every day I find more and more beauty and more serenity and more space.
Praise God.
Everything gets so crazy and so busy all the time. But when you take a moment to just sit in that space and sip in those moments, taking in all those little moments make the most important memories. If we
Mm,
just take time to look at them instead of
mm,
the to-do lists
mm-hmm,
or the calendar. Like we have
mm,
alarms and people to tell us where we need to be, but just enjoying those moments and not stressing about what comes of it after. Because whatever is meant to be won't pass us by. It's already meant for us.
mm-hmm,
You just have to
mm-hmm.
show up.
My gosh. Yeah, God's just set up the day for you. I think also part of it too for me, I think it's one level of gratitude to say, wow, this is so great. The weather's so great. This music is so amazing. But there's like it's for me a deeper level of gratitude that really speaks to your soul when you realize who gave it to you, who it came from, not just what it is, but who it came from. The deeper level of gratitude is the idea that this was gifted to you at this very moment, and it was intentional from the creator of the universe. I think that is like a much deeper level of gratitude that, I have my issues with self-help, the self-help world, because
Hmm.
to me, the self-help world will only get you so far. But, with Christianity and the Bible, it's just so much deeper. And I just love that. And that's why I'm just so compelled to share it with everyone.
It is so moving. And if people are listening who aren't Christian or don't really understand, and that's fine. This is what this was the feeling I can't describe when I started going to worship and I started going to church and I didn't even know why I was there.
Yeah.
I would just start ugly crying. I was ugly crying and I was so moved and I didn't feel broken, I felt found. And that was the
Oh.
most profound moment for me because I'm going to cry now. I've spent my whole life trying to pick up the pieces and fix what was wrong with me. When I heard him say, like, you're not broken. You've broken out of what you thought you meant were supposed to be. We're
Mm-hmm.
not meant to pick the pieces up. We're meant to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like things make or break us because they're meant to. We are
Mm-hmm.
always evolving. Like when I think of like an egg hatching, right? Like, do you see chickens going on like cleaning up the fucking shell? No.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they're out, they're doing their thing. And I think there's something really profound in like I've died multiple times. I've been saved in multiple ways. Like I've been given second, third chances.
Yeah.
And I look back and now I see where that came from. And it's
Mm,
like, you know, cancer survivor. I've OD'd. I've been beaten senseless. I've been in some dark places, but someone was always there and loved me anyway. And when I stopped thinking, oh, I need to heal, I need to get fit. Well, no, I was gifted this. Let's just move forward. And stop getting stuck in that like self-help fixation, I think is that's a real pandemic, if you ask me.
mm-hmm.
People aren't going to like that
Ooh.
I say that, but it's true. We get stuck in this like that's your purpose. And I've said it in my podcast a couple of times, but our purpose isn't to heal. Our purpose is to be. we heal along the way. It's a constant journey. We're not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
human.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could go
Yeah.
on forever about
I
that.
can't wait to have you on my show so we can talk about all those things.
It's just
So,
just Jessica ramble. I could go on for ages. That's why we're here. But I don't know. Do you want to share any further, any advice or a prayer or anything for listeners that are struggling with that authenticity or seeking strength to embody their core beliefs or their core values or feeling swayed or afraid? Because I find so too, sometimes we're always looking for the opinion to see if what we think is okay, but just
Mhm.
learning to just stand in it. And like
Yeah.
we should just be talking to Sky Daddy.
Yeah.
Need some advice.
Um, well, I mean, unpopular opinion, but I do think that, how you identify is really important.
Mhm.
You might look at yourself in the mirror, and when you look at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself, who do you see? You ask yourself, look in the mirror and say, who do I see? Do you see a beautician? Do you see a woman? Do you see a mom? Do you see, a real estate agent? Like, who are you? I think those are how you identify really matters in the way you experience life. And to me, the greatest and truest identity I've found is I am a daughter of God. I am a daughter of the Most High. And the whole world will try and feed you with lies about who you are. But when you look in the Bible and you learn about who you are, why you were created, it's different. You belong. You are saved. You are loved. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You are wonderfully made. And that kind of love, I think is just so much better than the self-love BS that the world tells us we're supposed to
Mm.
be. It's like that self-love stuff will only get you so far. It'll get the ball rolling, but I think if you realize whose you are through reading God's word, not just like listening to podcasts, but like doing your own inductive study about who you are, who you belong to, it changes you.
It does. Let it break your brain a bit because the self-love, there's that, it's very surface level. It's toxic positivity and a lot of self-love, self-help talk in the internet. But when you actually love yourself enough to let go of what you think you know, there's real power
Mm,
in that because what you
wow.
think you know isn't what who you are. Like when you look at yourself, but some of us hate ourselves in the mirror. Some of us have dysmorphia and we look in the mirror and we hate ourselves. Why? What is it that you hate? What is that stemming from? What are you hiding from? When the biggest moment for me to accept healing and to accept is worthiness. It's like, well, why don't you feel worthy? Because
Worthiness.
I've done so many things that's wrong, so many things wrong in my life and made mistakes because I was human and I was learning. I read something where if we were to erase all of our past mistakes, we would erase ourselves. And that was very
That's
powerful,
really good. That's
right? Like
really good.
it's true. Like that made us who we are. We were meant to learn these lessons in order to become who we are. So what are you doing with it now? Like, what are we
Ooh,
doing with it now?
even deeper, if you erase all your past mistakes, then why did Jesus have to die for you?
Yeah.
You erase like God's love for you
Yeah.
almost. It's like then why? You're so I love that. Thank you.
Like I would never harp on my children for making a mistake. Like they're my children. They make a mistake, we move on, we learn from it, and I help them. I want to help them. And that's what really put perspective to me was like how I feel as a mother and my children versus like my relationship with God and exploring that. Because everyone, it was more of a fear of being judged or like, he's gonna be
Hmm.
mad at me. I got daddy issues, right? And
Seriously,
like,
right?
oh, but like when I think of my kids, if my child does something wrong and comes to me or is feeling broken, I would only pour my love into them and want better for them and show them what's best.
I had this conversation at dinner last night and I thought about it and I like if every encounter Jesus ever had in the Bible with a sinner, he didn't make them feel worse about themselves.
Nope,
If
just
you
ask.
look at the words in red, he loved them. He said, go and sin no more, but he didn't make them feel worse. And I think about this too when I look at Genesis and the Bible and listen, we have it all wrong and God laid this all out for us. When we do something wrong, Adam, he hid from God. He hid instead of, oh my gosh, dad, I messed up. Help me. instead we have this like human, nature to hide from our Father. But like our Father is all loving. Our Father will help us fix things. Our Father is generous. He will forgive us. He'll sanctify us. He'll help us get better. So next time, like I think about all the times where I've messed up and I was ashamed and I ran from God instead of running to him saying, Dad, I messed up. So I messed up. Help me. And just that mindset shift. Like, forget, let's put eternity aside and heaven aside and all that stuff, even though that's very true. It just gives you permission to have a better existence and a better experience here on earth. It's just a better strategy to fight depression and loneliness overall to think that way. It benefits your life not even in eternity. It benefits your life now. And I just have not found anything better.
There you go. That's a good way to end this, is like talking about like there is a strategy for your soul. You want to have a good life, good business, good everything. The real strategy for your soul is to actually give yourself permission to receive. Give yourself permission
Mm.
to be. Give yourself permission to
To
be
mess
okay
up,
with not being okay.
to not be okay with not being okay.
Give
Yeah.
yourself permission to ask for help and to seek something outside of yourself. You don't have to be in control of everything because you're not. You're gonna go crazy. We try, but we have to know what's meant for us isn't going to pass us by. We have to know that we are loved and we are worthy of love and we are
Mm.
capable of
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, Jessica.
I love you.
I love
Well, I want to thank you again, Sheila, for coming on my show today and sharing some insight and more to your story and just spitballing all the wonderful things and shining your beautiful light on the world. And I do want to sincerely thank you for being such a big part of my life. You showed up in my feed one day in a blonde wig and you changed my life for the better and in so
you.
many different ways. So I do want to genuinely send you a little virtual hug today. And I'm going to see you soon. And when this will be airing after I see you, but I'll be seeing you over in Italy, I believe. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll hang out there.
we sure will. Come sit with us.
Give you a
I
big
mean,
hug.
yeah. Thank you again for having me. And I just want to keep encouraging you, Jessica, to keep searching. I've seen your journey throughout the years and it just keeps getting better and better. So there's so many things to look forward to with you. I'm very invested in your story and in your family and in your faith journey. Keep showing up the way you do.
Oh, thank you. You're gonna make me cry. I love you.
Love you too.